Let's talk about news involving the TSA. Going through airport security is going to be different for some passengers. The TSA has now said, we are no longer going to allow just anybody to opt out of the porno scanner, or as they like to call it, a millimeter wave, or they have a bunch of names for this scanner that looks through your clothes. They are no longer going to allow you to just opt out. You are going to, depending on some characteristics that they determine based on the threat level, risk level that the TSA believes you to pose, they might say to you, no, you cannot opt out of the porno scanner and get a pat down. Now, as you know, Lewis, I always opt out of this thing. I've never once gone through the millimeter wave scanner. Always get a pat down. And lately, I've actually avoided the entire thing because now that I have this thing called global entry, which gives you TSA pre-check, the pre-check line, in my experience, always has a standard metal detector rather than the millimeter wave scanner. Now, you have gone through the porno scanner in the past, right, Lewis? In the interest of avoiding a kerfuffle, so to speak.
Well, yeah, or just in the interest of time. I just don't like... You know, they tell you one thing about the radiation exposure.
Right.
I figure I'm flying, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm constantly surrounded by this stuff anyway. I'll limit my exposure.
Sure.
That's my mindset.
Yeah, that's my mindset. And even when they say there's no radiation, are TSA employees knowledgeable about radiation and health? Of course not. I mean, they're saying what someone told them to say, so I don't necessarily go by that. But we've also heard stories of the photos actually being, even though we're told it's not supposed to happen, the photos being stored. And people, TSA agents, have come out and said, yeah, we look at people and we can see through the clothes and we laugh about it. I just want nothing to do with this thing. But apparently now, it will no longer be our choice. The TSA will decide whether you can opt out or not. Let's remind you, I actually have a video of one of my pat downs. This is from years ago. My girlfriend recorded this. This was when we were still based in Western Massachusetts at Bradley International Airport outside of Hartford, Connecticut. Let's take a look. And you'll notice I'm grinning through the entire thing because I know it's being videotaped. They start telling her she has to stop recording. You may not have seen this. I'll play it for you. There I go. Flying like an eagle, put my hands straight out.
Then we would prefer that you wouldn't videotape that.
They would prefer she not record.
I can't stop you, but... Okay?
He asked me to.
You're not taking pictures.
I'm allowed to, legally. I'm allowed to.
Give me a supervisor.
He...
Right, this guy keeps going. I'm like, do not turn it off, but get out of the way.
All right.
Supervisor, are you taking it off?
Legally, I'm allowed to, and he asked me to for a
My girlfriend was not happy after this. She asked me, am I allowed to do this legally? And I said, you are allowed to record legally as long as you don't interfere with the pat down. And that's why I at one point signaled that she stand past security. When these guys, the wording they use, we would prefer you not film this. That's absolutely fine, but I'm legally allowed to film this as long as I'm not interfering. They know the language to use, right? Well, they said they would prefer I not film. Is that an order? Is that a legally binding order? But no, you are allowed to film the pat down, and every time it is endlessly hilarious.
Yeah, they have very specific instructions on what to say and how to say it in situations like this, and you are allowed to film. So yeah, I guess they're probably used to this type of thing now. I don't think they get as agitated anymore when people are filming.
Yeah, and the new thing is they say to you, listen, this is going to be much easier for both of us if you just go through the porno scanner. That's how they dissuade you from saying, I'd like to opt out. Don't fall for it, but may not be allowed to opt out in the future, which is disturbing to say the least.